Welcome to the PromptWise. I'm Corey, and today we're doing something simple and useful. We're putting the major AI chat platforms in the same arena and asking which one should you use at work? Because right now it feels like every week there's a new AI tool, a new model, feature, new agent, or a person on LinkedIn that's telling you if you're not using it, you're already behind. So let's make it practical. In this video, we're going to compare ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, and a few special guests like Perplexity, NotebookLM, Grok, and Meta AI, not from a technical research paper angle, from a normal working professional angle. By the end, you should know which tool to open for emails, meeting notes, research writing, Google Workspace, Microsoft 365 spreadsheets, presentations. We got a bunch of stuff, including AI agents we'll be developing. And here's the big spoiler. There's no one winner. The winner depends on really the job and what you're doing. So here's the first rule of the PromptWise. Use an AI toolbox, not a marriage. The wrong question is, which AI is best? So that sounds reasonable, but is kind of like asking which tool is best. A hammer or a screwdriver, paintbrush, or a tape measure. The answer is, what are you trying to do? So if you're writing and editing, Claude or ChatGPT may feel strongest. If you live in a Microsoft environment where you use Outlook and Word and Excel, etc., you've got Copilot. That becomes very important. If you work in a Google environment, so you're using Gmail or Docs or Drives or Sheets, Gemini is going to be native and it's going to be very important for you to learn to use. And if you're doing quick research, want source links, Perplexity may be the fastest starting point for you there. Or if you have a pile of PDFs and notes and source documents, you may want to use NotebookLM. That can be extremely useful. So instead of trying to find your one true AI soulmate, think of these tools as a bench of specialists that you're the manager, so you decide who you put in. Let's get to the cheat sheet here early. For general productivity, brainstorming, planning, prompt writing, and everyday work, I'd usually start with ChatGPT. That's been my go-to since early on. I've been using ChatGPT as well as Gemini, Claude, etc. But mostly ChatGPT. For writing, editing long documents, tone, proposals, and scripts, Claude is really great at doing that. For Google Workspace, meaning Gmail, Google Docs, Drive, Sheets, and Slides, Gemini is going to be a natural fit. For Microsoft 365 work, you're going to be using Teams or Outlook, Word, Excel, SharePoint. For source-heavy research and web answers, Perplexity and ChatGPT with search or deep research enabled are strong options. And for studying, analyzing documents that you upload yourself, NotebookLM is going to be the specialist there. This is just this is going to be sort of the map there. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, go ahead and steal that. But stay with me because now we're going to talk about what each one feels like in real work. First up is ChatGPT. I think of ChatGPT as the Swiss Army knife of AI tools. If you're starting from zero, this is probably the easiest first platform to learn because it can help with almost everything. You can use it to turn messy notes into a clean plan. You can ask it to draft emails, create meeting agendas, summarize documents, brainstorm, build outlines, all kinds of great things. Where ChatGPT gets especially useful for professionals is when you stop using it like Google and start using it like a work assistant. So instead of asking it a question like what is project management, you act as a senior project manager, turn these rough notes into a status update with accomplishments, blockers, risks, owners, and next steps. That's a completely different kind of output. OpenAI has features like projects for organizing long-running work and deep research for more involved multi-step research across the web. So ChatGPT is not just a chat box anymore. It's becoming a workspace. My recommendation is that if you're a beginner, learn ChatGPT first. It gives you the broadest foundation. Next up is Claude. Claude is the thoughtful editor in the room. So if ChatGPT is the energetic coworker who can help with almost anything, Claude is the coworker who reads the whole document, pauses for a second, and says, I think that structure is good, but paragraph 3 is doing too much. Claude is excellent for writing and editing. It's strong with tone, nuance, rewriting, summarizing longer content, and helping you with complex materials. Anthropic's Claude also has projects which lets you create focused workspaces with your own context and knowledge. So it has artifacts which can turn your ideas into standalone content, tools, visualizations, and apps in a separate workspace. So if you're writing proposals, emails, scripts, policy summaries, training materials, client communications, or anything where tone matters, Claude is going to be a great tool to test. For this one, when the output needs to sound polished, thoughtful, and human, Claude should be on your short list. It's great at making things not sound like an AI chatbot, which I know a lot of folks struggle with. Now let's talk about Gemini. Gemini is Google's AI assistant, and its biggest advantage is not that it's that it can chat, but that it belongs in the Google ecosystem. So if your workday lives in Gmail or Google Docs or Sheets or Slides, Gemini can become very useful because it is close to where your work already happens, and it's already integrated into a lot of these applications, depending on your organization's level of integration. So this matters because convenience wins. If an AI tool is built into the applications you're already using, you're more likely to actually use it. So, for example, Gemini can help you draft content, organize ideas, brainstorm. For students, small business creators, and companies already living in Google, Gemini, it's worth learning for sure. And so, if your work starts in Gmail and ends in Google Drive, you're not going to want to ignore Gemini. Gemini's a great tool. Next is Microsoft Copilot. Copilot is the corporate office coworker. If your company lives in Teams and Outlook or Word, any of those products, Copilot may be the AI tool that matters most inside of the business environment there. The key with Copilot is that it's not just another chat window. The promise is there is that it sits closer to your 365 work stream. So meeting summaries, email drafts, Word documents, spreadsheet help, and PowerPoint creation. And then, enterprise knowledge just becomes more valuable when an AI can operate inside that same ecosystem. Then there's Copilot Studio, which Microsoft describes as a low-code way to build agents and agent flows. And that matters because companies are going to want AI assistants that follow their processes, connect to their systems, and then, of course, support employees or customers. So recommendation there is that if you work in a Microsoft heavy company, Copilot's not optional. To understand, it may not always be your favorite creative writing assistant, but it is likely to become a major workspace tool. Now for the special guest. So Perplexity is thought of as an AI answer engine. So it's very useful when you want fast web answers with sources. I would use it for quick market research or comparison shopping, finding starting points and getting links to supporting materials. A NotebookLM is different. It shines when you upload your own sources and want the AI to stay grounded in those materials. So it's great for studying, reviewing notes, or summarizing PDFs, and turning sources into learning materials. Google's audio overview feature can even turn source materials into an audio style discussion. With Grok, it's worth mentioning because of its personality, its connection to X, and social context. It is designed with more supposed wit and part of the X AI ecosystem. So just something to keep an eye on there. The same with Meta AI. It's more of a consumer and social oriented LLM, and it may become useful for social content, messaging, creative tools, and then everyday consumer workflows across Meta apps. And these are not necessarily the first tools I would teach to beginners, but they are powerful specialists. So which tool should you open first? If you're brainstorming a plan, start with ChatGPT. If you're rewriting a long report, try Claude. If you need to summarize a Teams meeting or work inside of a Microsoft heavy environment, look at Copilot. If you're working in Gmail or Google Docs or Google Drive, Gemini is going to be your go-to. And if you need quick sources from the web, Perplexity is it. If you need to study or analyze documents you already have, NotebookLM is really great. And if you want to build a simple assistant, that answer depends on where the assistant will live. So for your own personal workflows, ChatGPT, custom GPTs, or projects may be a good starting point. For company workflows inside Microsoft Copilot Studio, or Gemini, depending on your organization, that may be the right decision there. And then again, this is not about loyalty. It's all about matching the tools that work for you. Here's a simple prompt recipe you can use in every platform, basically. So step one, give it a role. For this one, let's say like act as a project manager, or act as an executive assistant, or as a operational consultant. Step two, give the task. So turn these rough notes into a clear summary, or rewrite this email so it sounds professional but not robotic. And then step three, give it the format. So tell it to use bullets, include action items, owners, risks, and next steps. And so the prompt could be, act as a project manager, turn the following rough meeting notes into a clean project update, use sections for summaries, accomplishments, blockers, risks, decisions, owners, next steps, and then, keep the tone professional and concise. And then that prompt will work in all of these different platforms: ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, etc. The output may vary, but the structure will help every tool perform better if you prompt that way. And then just in general, I know that it's very likely that a lot of your organizations already drill on a lot of this stuff, but I do want to include some notice on just safety and professional use with these. AI it's a very powerful tool, but you have to use it professionally. So first, protect private data. So don't paste sensitive client information, patient information, employee information, financial, proprietary details, or data, you know, internal documents, unless your organization allows those specifics. And of course, that you understand those rules. And then second, verify the output. AI can sound very confident even when it's wrong. So check the numbers, check dates, citations, policy details, legal language. Anything you're sending to a customer or executive or team, you just want to double check it and make sure everything looks good and accurate. And then third, keep humans accountable. AI can draft, organize, it can summarize, suggest, and accelerate, but you still own the final answer. Um, and the goal is not to avoid AI, but the goal is to use it professionally. So just a little disclaimer on this one. This is exactly what the PromptWise is going to be focusing on here. So we're going to start with beginner tutorials for ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, and other accessible AI tools. And then we'll move into real workflows: emails, meetings, reports, project updates, research, documents, presentations, and spreadsheets. And then we will build agents, custom GPTs, Claude projects. We're going to go through all of the different platforms, and we will do weekly updates. So, but with a practical angle. So not just here's what's launched or here's a new feature, but what does it change and how can you use it at work? So something that applies to us in a professional way, and how we may benefit from it and what changes we may see. And this channel is for people who are professional, smart, busy, not trying to become software engineers to understand AI, but we all understand AI is coming, and we want to get to a point where we're using it to optimize what we do. So here's your next step. I want you to pick an AI tool and a one real work task this week, and don't try to learn everything, but do open it up. Check it out. Maybe use ChatGPT to clean up some meeting notes. Maybe use Claude to rewrite an email, or Gemini inside a Google workflow, or use Copilot to summarize a Teams meeting, or use Perplexity to gather some source information or some details that you might be finding on the web. And then compare that output to how you would work normally. See if it provides you something of value. So if this video helped, please subscribe to the PromptWise. I'll be building this from the basics into practical workflows, agents, and weekly updates. Also, comment below with what you do and the first task you want AI to help you with. So, emails, meetings, reports, research, spreadsheets, or agents. And then I'll use those comments to shape next videos coming up. So I would love your feedback and thank you so much for watching.